welcome to the video notes for lesson 3-7. And these notes begin on page 33 in your notes packet. And this is all about exponents and multiplication with variables and division with variables. Now, we have already learned about the rules that go with this lesson from our previous lesson in 3-5. So I'm going to put a star up here. You should probably write this down just to help you. This is like lesson 3-5. You will see some of the same properties and the same strategies. So, use the properties of exponents to determine the power of a power when multiplying and dividing exponents. Alright, so remember, when you're raising a power to a power, we have a strategy for that. And the strategy is we multiply the exponents. Alright, and we'll go through the explanation of how it works out that way. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and look at our examples. So the first example is x squared raised to the third power. Now let's talk about what that means. That's really x squared times x squared times x squared. The base for each of these is x. The exponent is 2. So when I multiply, I add the exponents. 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is 6. Now, if I look closely here, I've got x squared raised to the third power. So an exponent of 2 and then another exponent of 3. What I can do is, instead of writing it out like this, because sometimes we're going to have some really large exponents, and that would be a lot of writing, we can just multiply the exponents. So 2 times 3, which is 6. So either way you do this, expand it out or do the strategy of multiplying the exponents, you get x to the 6th power. Alright, so over here, now what you have to be careful of is if there's more than one variable or if there is a coefficient of the variable, then that exponent, it's almost like the distributive property, it's going to go with everything inside the parentheses. So one way to write 2x squared raised to the third power is 2x squared times 2x squared times 2x squared. We have it 1, 2, 3 times, because that's our exponent up here, 3. Or you can distribute that 3 to both of these, and that's like 2 to the third power, which is 8, and x squared raised to the third power, which we already know is x to the 6th. Okay? Alright, so that is multiplying or raising a power to a power. Now we'll take a look at some division. Remember, when we have an exponent outside the parentheses for a fraction, that exponent is going to go with both the numerator and the denominator. So x times x times x is x to the third, and then we have 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 to the third. But I do expect you, or you are expected, to expand out the 2 to the third, and 2 to the third is 8. So this is a good answer, this is the best answer. And then of course the last one, again, now this time we have variables that have exponents. So since we're raising a power to a power, and this is a perfect example where it might be helpful to remember the rule, the strategy, multiply the exponents, x squared raised to the second power, or squared again, is 2 times 2, or x to the 4th. Y cubed raised to the second power is y to the 3 times 2, or y to the 6th. Alright, so there is the answers for our examples. We'll take a look at a couple more over on the next page, page 34. So this summarizes what we just talked about. So to find the power of a power, multiply the exponents. Now this is when the variable, whatever it may be, is not equal to 0 and your exponents are integers. So when I look at the first one, n to the 4th power, sure, you could write that out, n to the 4th, and then it's being squared or raised to the second power. So you could write it out like that. they have the same base, add the exponents. Or, you can just say, well, raise the power to a power, that's n to the 4 times 2, or n to the 8th power. Now, we're going to be having multiple strategies going on at the same time, so you've got to really be careful. Remember, when there is a coefficient, that exponent outside the parentheses goes with that and the variable. So I really have 2 to the 5th here, and m to the 3 times 5 power. Now, 2 to the 5th, you can figure that out. We've already done it in math. It's 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2, which is 8, times 2 again, which is 16, times 2, and that's 32. M to the 3 times 5 is m to the 15th power, and this one is done. Alright? Okay, one more quick example to look at. Quotient, or when we have a fraction type situation or division. Remember, the exponent goes with everything inside the parentheses. So really I have 2 squared, x squared, over y squared. So 2 squared, you can do that, it's 4, expand it. X squared is just x squared, oops. X squared is just x squared, and y squared is just y squared. You can't expand them out any further, so you are done. And then the next one, the exponent goes with both the numerator and the denominator, raising a power to a power, so n to the 3rd power times 3, over m squared times 3. So we get n to the 9th over m to the 6th, and we are done. Alright, pretty short, quick, nice lesson. Hopefully you understood everything that was happening. If you had any trouble, go back and rewatch the video. Good luck, and we'll see you in math.